But yes, as you're looking at the intersection of Crenshaw and Slauson, we will be expecting the procession to come through this way in the next 30 minutes. So the street does need to open up and clear up. So I'm assuming that is what the police is doing. There's also some leaders from the community that I'm looking at. I'm not sure if this is the Nation of Islam. I will assume that. I'm not 100% sure. But they are getting people to back up and open up the intersection. I just kind of want to pan over here. There's people on top of the light pole, people on top of the gas station pump. We can see that over here. There's even people on top of buildings. There's a car wash. You can't really see it over the ambulance, but there's people standing on top of the building, I guess trying to get their perfect view. The crowd looks like it's getting a bit rowdy. Okay, they're pulling out. I want to say that they're trying to calm the crowd down. We might. Okay, you guys are looking at the police officers right now. I believe they're just attempting to calm the crowd down with pulling out. I want to say these are, I'm going to ask my producer, Manny, what would you call less than lethal? That's what they're using right now to kind of separate the crowd. They've asked nicely, and I guess no one is moving. But I will reiterate that for the most part, it's been fairly peaceful here, not rowdy at all. The crowd just kind of started to come and crowd the intersection. We have a guy over here on top of a news truck that should not be up here. There's also a guy on the light pole over here. So, yeah, people are just trying to see what's going on or trying to get the best view that they can when the procession comes through. But we also have to remember that, I mean, the procession has to get through. So I think that is what the police is trying to let everyone know. Again, we are on Crenshaw and Slauson in front of the Marathon store. It's literally, it's more than 1,000 people here by now. This morning when we got here, it was probably around 100. The crowd has grown over time as expected. Things seem to be calming down a little bit. They have moved out of the intersection for, at least for the most part. They now have a lane open. There's still a crowd in the intersection. Yeah, there's been people sneaking into the media section under yellow tape. It's a lot going on right now, but I think it's important to note that, I mean, if they want to see their favorite rapper who is out right now, we kind of have
Milicia, this is Tanner. Can you hear me?
The police right now. I can hear you, Tanner.
Hi, we're I'm here in the studio. We are watching your footage there at the Marathon store. It's really vivid. Like you mentioned, there's easily over 1,000 people there right now. Everyone seems to be calm. Everyone's there for the same reason. Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, I don't think it's anybody specific. Let's just be real. When there's a large crowd like this, at times it can, just be a few people that don't want to listen to people trying to direct them to do the right thing. So I think that's what's going on, but I would hate for them to ruin it for everyone else.
Have you gotten any kind of information? Have you gotten any kind of information about how far away the procession may be from where you are now? Has anyone, any police officer or any other press mentioned anything like that?
No, we've asked, and no one necessarily knows for sure. Where the police officer that I asked, he did not know. I'm assuming that the procession is about 20 minutes away from looking at the route. I don't have a definitive answer, though, but they are clearing a lane for the hearse to make its way through this intersection.
Everyone
seems to be cooperating right now.
Last I had seen, they were still headed south on Vermont, which is east of you guys, several blocks. And as they were headed south on Vermont, they were going to circle through Watts and then head west towards Crenshaw, coming north to meet you guys at the Marathon store. And so it's hard to say, obviously, because of Los Angeles traffic. Right now I'm looking at a feed where Nipsey's hearse has what looks to be maybe 20, 30 people following and surrounding it on bicycles or other motorcycles. And so I could see it taking a little longer than 20 minutes to get to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you probably have a better estimation than me right now, because I'm out here just trying to really figure out what's going on. I don't know what caused the disturbance, but Tanner, this is the hub. I mean, if you didn't get a ticket to the Staples Center, this is ideally the place you would come. I mean, this is a centerpiece. This was a centerpiece in his life, the Marathon store. So these are fans, some of them diehard fans that just didn't get the opportunity to get a ticket, like many people didn't. And we just want everyone to cooperate so that this can go smoothly. But I will say this, I mean, we've talked to some people that have been so passionate about Nipsey, Tanner, and everyone listening. And I'll say this again, Nipsey said one of the biggest compliments that he can receive, he said this in an interview, one of the biggest compliments that he can receive is that people were inspired and motivated to keep going through hard times by listening to his music. Because growing up, that's what he looked for in music. So to be that person that helps you wiggle through a hard time, that's the biggest compliment that he could receive. And from the people I talked to today, I know wherever Nipsey is, he is smiling down, because that is literally the theme that came out of everyone's mouth, is that he helped me through hard times. He taught me entrepreneurship skills. He spoke my language. I mean, it's definitely a sad case, and this has been it's been a celebration here. The vibe has been very positive, but I know for me personally, I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel once the hearse passes through here, because yeah, we've been watching it on television, we've been seeing it from a distance, but to have his body literally drive past you, I think it's gonna be just a reality check for a lot of us.
Melissa, I'm not scared to tell you that for the number of people that are there, it's a little hard for me to imagine. There are so many people there, and they're so passionate about Nipsey and what he was doing with his life, that when that hearse comes through, I really think they're going to have a hard time not showing their excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There was some chants going on earlier. Someone would scream Nipsey, and then someone else would scream hustle, and it will go on for a while. We actually have a clip of that. I want to toss to it right now.
When I say Nipsey, you say hustle. Nipsey, hustle. Nipsey, hustle. When I say Nipsey, you say hustle. Nipsey, hustle. Nipsey, hustle. When I say Nipsey, you say hustle. Nipsey, hustle. Nipsey, hustle. When I say Nipsey, you say hustle. Nipsey, hustle.
Melissa, not too long ago, Councilman
That right
Marquis...
there was Mike Strong. He was the leader in that chant. We actually got a chance to speak with him earlier this morning. He was one of the first people here. He spoke so passionately about Nipsey. I believe we have that clip. Let's hear it.
The marathon has to continue. That's why we out here. Big fan of Nip. I've worked with Nip in the past. We worked a movie together, and we had a scene, and the things that I said to him in that scene, like, almost became true.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
What were they?
We filmed a movie called Rafter Kane, and my line to him was, "Be careful, they're gunning for you." And to see how everything went down, it's like it's just unhumane. You know what I'm saying? It just don't make no sense how you got somebody out here in Los Angeles doing all the things that he's doing, and then somebody supposedly, allegedly from your own neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, to do it in that fashion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Do it in that fashion and do it amongst the people. Like, he had such an effect on so many different people over the last decade and some change. It's like, it just don't make no sense.
How did he affect you?
in many ways. It's a motivation, most definitely. If you would like really listen to his lyrics, it took you out of the state of mind of the things that was really going on in your world, and it lets you know that all the things that you think about, all the things that you want to achieve, all these things can come true if you would apply the information that's given. And all Nipsey did was apply the information, the books, the this, the that, the Think and Grow Rich, the all of these different things and lessons that Black Sam installed in him and the people around him, the things that he had access to, and
you're looking at an image right now of Nipsey Hussle's hearse headed through Los Angeles, obviously surrounded by police, but even more so surrounded by fans. Earlier we were able to see a number of just bicycles following the hearse. I think as he continues south, I believe they're still on Vermont Street. That's hard for me to tell at this moment. But as he continues south and then circles again through the communities of Watts and then Crenshaw, I can only imagine the size of the crowd will increase. The Staples Center sold out of tickets. I shouldn't say sold out. They gave the tickets away for free, but they ran out of tickets for his funeral very quickly online, which forces not only the rest of the city of Los Angeles, but everyone from outside of the state of California who wanted to come to Los Angeles to celebrate Nipsey's life, they are finding their place along this procession. Again, you're looking at a very large crowd here, and I can only imagine it will grow, and that the center of it will be the Marathon store where Melissa Johnson's been stationed all day.
Got it.
Guys, I think they're on Century.
Drop your money.
That would be a left. Are they turning right at the intersection of Wilmington and Century? Is that where they would be? That's their first technical right. Right? Is anyone else tracking that? I believe they just made their first right, which would put them at the intersection of Wilmington and Century, right? Am I looking at that right? Well, that wouldn't be their first right. If it's their first right, because they'd have to turn, heading south off Vermont, they would make a left onto Century, and then their first right would be Wilmington and Century. And then they just make a left. Then they would be, okay. They might be coming back to Century Boulevard to head west. Or currently on Century Boulevard. This thing is going to explode when it gets to Marathon. Oh, okay, cool. I think they're on Century headed west. Or I mean, like they're in watts, I think. Phew. Phew. All right, guys, we are watching the Nipsey Hussle's funeral procession as it moves through Los Angeles. There is a very large crowd waiting at the Marathon store. You can see on the top of his hearse there, lots and lots of roses have made it there, obviously from adoring fans. At different points in the procession here, you can see some of the motorcycles and ATVs in the back there. At one point, when they were in a larger, honestly, 2-4 lanes of traffic, there were lots of ATVs, lots of motorcycles driving around the hearse. Obviously, major fans of Nipsey and the community that he was trying to create. You can see there on the right side of the screen, this is our crew at the Marathon store. They are telling us that there are upwards of 10,000 people at the Marathon store lot and the strip mall lot. Obviously, this is around that area. I believe that is the intersection that Councilman Marquise Harris Dawson recently named for Nipsey Hussle, and so this, to me, almost as big as the Staples Center funeral itself, is the epicenter of the fans, for the fans of Nipsey Hussle at this moment. Some of these helicopter feeds are a little, can be a little sketchy here, but obviously here is a fan with a sign echoing a lot of what Nipsey had to say himself.
This side of Schwab, so should I go towards Crenshaw? I don't think I can go that way.
You can see there in the corner, that's the actual Marathon clothing store back there in the corner. Again, obviously, you've heard a lot of people talk about Marathon clothing. The marathon isn't over. The marathon continues. These are the words of his fans. He owns that whole He owns that whole strip center there. We are told that the officers there are on high alert just because of the number of people who are there. Alicia Johnson has been there all day long with an ET Live crew. Earlier, she commented that some of the officers were taking, what is the phrase? They were taking extra precautions. They were taking helmets and different things like that out of the back of their car just to try and calm the crowd and keep everybody out of the way so that this procession can smoothly make its way through the intersection. Obviously, with 10,000 people packed into such a small area, it's very difficult to manage. The LAPD has pulled out all the stops here. We have officers from downtown Los Angeles, from Venice, Los Angeles here in the Crenshaw area, which was Nipsey's hometown. You can see there the motorcycles driving alongside Nipsey. These are not all police motorcycles. The one in the front with the vest is the ones along the sides. Well, obviously the ones that are not police motorcycles. Some of these people, I've seen them popping wheelies on ATVs and motorcycles, obviously they're expressing their enthusiasm for Nipsey in their own ways, but driving alongside the procession has been important for a lot of people today. Quite the scene here in Los Angeles today, the Nipsey Hussle procession. They're making their way towards the intersection of Slauson and Crenshaw. That's the shopping center that Nipsey owns, where Marathon Clothing is located. And again, there are upwards of 10,000 people awaiting his hearse there. The Nation of Islam have actually been a large help to the LAPD because through their coordinated efforts, they're listening to the police, they're helping to keep the crowd out of the street and keep everybody calm. We're obviously not talking about 10,000 people inside this one intersection. We're talking about the parking lots and the streets surrounding it. Clearly, there are a large number of people following this procession as it continues to move, I believe, west now towards Crenshaw itself. Police here trying to clear an intersection so that the procession can move through.
Right. No, we're not going to be over the procession. We will be in.
We're a little backed up in traffic. Hoping everybody keeps their cool here. Obviously, this is a lot of people packed into a small area. Trying to make way for the hearse itself to get through as it maintains its course towards Marathon Clothing. You see here, it appears as though they might be doubling around. It's hard to tell what's going on. Obviously, for the number of people, again, in this very small space. And there, the procession is moving again. A lot of traffic, a whole lot of traffic in front of the procession here. It looks as though it will be coming to a halt for the immediate future. Here are police, as we zoom in on this intersection, doing their best to clear things out so the procession can move along. That looks like Central Boulevard there. The procession has been moving pretty smoothly up to this point. They were able, I guess, to keep most of the streets clear, but this intersection, they just were not having the luck. And because of that, a lot of the people who were following his hearse have been able to catch up to it. And you can see them taking their photos. A woman earlier removed a rose from the roof of the hearse. Here, people have taken to touching the car, hitting the car, obviously taking their photos with it. And all of the ATVs and motorcycles continue alongside. As you can see here, a large crowd is starting to gather off the driver's side of the vehicle here. Lots of people making their way to just put a hand on the hearse. Obviously, lots and lots of cell phones out, lots of people grabbing photos. On the passenger side of the vehicle, the right side of the vehicle, you see a row of ATVs and motorcycles. It appears as though some of these people, some of the riders of the motorcycles might be helping to disperse the crowd a little bit. That's not something I can say for certain. It just kind of appears that they might be making some sort of a, I don't know, an impromptu wall to keep people from getting up to the hearse itself. They're currently near the intersection of Century and Wilmington, which is in South Los Angeles. That would mean that they are currently headed west as they try to get closer to Inglewood, around through Slauson and La Brea, and then back east towards Marathon itself. Like I mentioned a moment ago, the procession, as it came south from the Staples Center along Vermont, didn't encounter much traffic, was able to move quite smoothly. As they headed east along Century Boulevard, everything was fine. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe my producer just told me they were at Wilmington and Century. That would mean that they have yet to head west along Century Boulevard, and they are in sort of south central Los Angeles. This is Watts. This is South Florence. And obviously, if the crowd has gotten so large here, you can only imagine how large the crowd will be as they continue to head west towards Inglewood and, again, the Marathon clothing store. If this traffic isn't cleared up in a relatively soon time frame, this procession will take hours before they're able to not only reach Marathon clothing, but for the hearse to reach its final destination of Angelus Funeral Home. So we might be looking at quite a long evening here for Nipsey and his fans. It's almost 4 o'clock here in Los Angeles, and the sun has been setting close to 7 o'clock, and so it's hard to say whether or not they will make it to Marathon with daylight or not. Here's a bigger picture of what we're looking at. Very little movement at all with the procession in the last 15, 20 minutes. All right, they're going to make a right up here. Guys, as we have a little bit of trouble here with our live feed of the procession, I want to show you an interview that Denny Directo and Jason Carter got earlier today with Master P outside of the Staples Center.
We're joined now by Master P, someone who had a very, very close bond with Nipsey. Thanks for taking the time before you head into the service, man.
Yeah. Yes.
Obviously, there's a lot of emotions today as we honor his life and legacy. How are you feeling?
Nah, this was a real soldier, somebody that light is going to spread on the world forever.
I could hear what you were saying, but
people come from hip-hop. I mean, he should have got this while he was alive with all the work that
because I'm trying to figure out, is my mic hot? I know that it's on. I know it's
this
going
love
on
and this peace that's being spread after his life
what's up, man? How you doing?
is incredible.
Good.
He's our angel now.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
from the streets, he's a guy that put it all, risked it all. And I mean, the world is going to know Nipsey Hussle.
This thing's going to explode when it gets to Marathon.
Every kid that get into the hip-hop business that want to go back and help their community.
Stuck down for, I don't know, almost
this guy
half an
was
hour.
about giving back.
They haven't even started to head west.
I taught him a lot of the independence and, chasing your dreams. There was a guy that just got it right off the top. And he wasn't afraid to say, P, how do this, how do that.
You were like in action.
I know he's smiling down on us right now. And his legacy, I mean, it's big. I mean, he's in the Staples Center, coming from the streets.
Sounds great. I'm listening to it right now.
Amongst Michael Jackson to the people. So when you go out, you want to go out like this.
Right.
In so many communities across the world supporting this. And these kids are going to know, his life, the good and the bad, the do's and the don'ts. And
there's that.
He's going to save so many other lives. We lost one to save millions. That's what I feel like today is about.
Nipsey, countless times, P, had referred to you as being the blueprint of how to do what he did. Take music and expand upon that and use it for good and to become an entrepreneur. You guys were working on so many projects together. You had a very intimate relationship as far as family and being working together. Elaborate on that for us, because we just gotta, before he died, we just gotta peek into that. And we're so fascinated by yours and his relationship.
Yeah, well, you know what, me and him,
we're in a 7.
Even though I live where I live now,
I'll come over here and dunk on you.
This we made a lot of the music at. So I always come back to the community because of him. And his spirit was so strong, man, to I have to be here doing this. Like, he wanted to be here.
A connection.
He had a connection, and he just was a giving person, a loving person to say that, you know what, we got to show the world what the ghetto is about and how we can put business back in there. And we did it in the music.
Right.
We was working on a record. It's called Street Millionaires, and it'll be on I Got the Hookup to the movie soundtrack. So it's just crazy, man. It's still, you know, you like, is this really happening? But
it's surreal.
It's surreal, but the love, I mean, and see how strong, even from his mother to his family, you know, people know that this man ain't die in vain. Like, the world is gonna know Nipsey Hussle forever.
We're realizing his impact more and more since he died,
well,
and you know.
We know what's crazy because his music done went up 2,000%.
Right.
I mean, they're playing them on every radio now. A lot of these songs we've been made, and this is what he wanted to see. I'm just so happy that the world has recognized him.
Yeah.
You know, because this is a good brother.
Talk to me about that project you guys last worked on. It sounds like we're actually going to be able to hear it eventually. Yeah. What did it mean to work with Nipsey, someone who idolized you?
You know what? I get in the booth with Nipsey. We made so many records because when something come to our head, it just, you know, we work with 1,500, and we like, you know what? Turn on the mic, and me and Nipsey just made the magic happen. And I mean, he's a talented person, and he critiqued everything that he did to where it's like, I got to do it this way, I got to do it that way. I was talking to G, the producer, the engineer that normally engineer all his music, and he said, man, Nipsey had a real plan. He had stuff wrote on the board every day what he was going to do to get to his goals and his dreams. So this was the guy, the vision board. This guy was organized. And then when we got in the studio, that's how it happened. I mean, we didn't really write. Like, it just came to us. Like, all these songs that you hear that we created, it just came to us. And so, you know, being in that environment, living that, the thing that I was able to do, escape that and get away from it. And, you know, for him, it's like, man, he had to be there.
Right. You had mentioned about family. We heard yesterday that there was a very private moment that family had. Can you let us in on what transpired or any details?
You know what? It was a beautiful service. And it was a lot of love, a lot of family, friends that was close to the family. And, man, this brother seemed at peace. You know, it seemed like God really had something, a glow over this guy. So, you know, people are not mourning like that. People are like, you know what? It's time for a new beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we watched the gangs come together behind this guy. It's crazy.
It is.
For peace.
Right.
You know, Crips coming together and walking up Crenshaw, that we never expected to see nothing like that. So that's how much love this man is loved around the world and in his own community.
Yeah, we were talking about how the LAPD said that they were working with Nipsey to find a way to work together to combat gang violence. I mean, you have that, his social contributions to the community, and of course his music. How do you hope we'll remember Nipsey, and how should we keep his legacy alive?
You know what? Forget about the past and remember Nipsey as the guy that changed his life, the guy that wanted more for everybody, and the guy that gave up his life for us to have a better life. So, you know, man, I can't do nothing but
celebrate him.
Celebrate him, man. We got to celebrate. This man is
he needs his own second line, right?
Yes, you know, because in New Orleans we do second lines, and it's like, man, and the guy that wasn't afraid to celebrate other people while they here.
Absolutely.
Because, you know,
you're among them.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that if I call on the phone, he there. I mean, we did that song 2 days before he passed. Like, look, man, let's do this record for the movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
He like, all right, boss, what we need to do? You know, I got the hook up too. Let's get it done. And we just did it. We knocked it out. So yeah, this is a real soldier that the world is gonna miss, but the world is gonna feel the joy forever.
Master P, thank you so much, first of all, for speaking with us. Secondly, for your contributions to hip-hop and what you've done for music and the community of New Orleans as well, and all across music, man. We're so honored to have you here and for you to share those loving words of a Nipsey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I really like it when I am told when it's on and off. It's super helpful. Oh yeah, no worries. I'm positive that this whole thing is driving everybody crazy. Did that guy just... Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Okay, what are they passing under? All right. The 110. So they're coming up on Vermont. Their next intersection will be Crenshaw Century. Well, not their next intersection, their next turn.
Boy, it's one of those things, and you know, once we get through the day, Ocean Views, small circle is the chosen few. I wrote it down and I followed through. And continue with his bought a pound and we rode the few. I talk shit, but she know it's true. Exactly. Blessings. It's in my section. Yo, with all this money, I'm obsessive. Weapons. Turning off y'all extras. Turning off this bullshit direction. Turning up my grind. Waking up to more pressure. But it's all in your mind. So I never feel pressure. Know it's all in due time. Now let it stack it like Tetris. Hustle hard is my message. Then double back and get extras. Know I spaz when I catch it. Yellow bone, white Lexus. All black tan, two white cups, fat gold chain, Sprite, Texas. I'm just young and I'm reckless. I'm just on for my section. I'm just out on top speed with my top down and I'm revving. I don't know about hell. I don't know about heaven. All I know is about right now, and this lifestyle is interesting. Ice down in my session, I just write down his confessions. Died, got life around me, I guess that I'm an exception. Bless Ocean Views, small circle, it's a chosen few. I wrote it down and I followed through. I bought a pound and we rode the few. I talk shit, but she know it's true. Ocean Views, small circle, it's a chosen few. I wrote it down and I followed through. I bought a pound and we rode the few. I talk shit, but she know it's true. Look, I'm in these streets with my Cuban on. And my Benz with my music on. Only friends like what you and all. Shit, I've been on my grind, I ain't usually home. Focused, I ain't using phones. Lately, I've been using songs. To get my point across, why niggas around me lose it all. But that's your point of toss, I guess I always knew the ball. And that's just where revolves, I'm cracking cause I do my job. Look, from hood rats to stars, spending all cash to sliding cards. It's the definition of living large. Smoking top flight in the biggest cars. Told you roll 8, this shit was ours. Getting this cake, yeah, nigga, and getting more. Look at this world, young nigga, it's really yours. This really mine, my niggas is really Ford. Them buildings is really high, them cars is really Ford. And all I see is Ocean Views. Small circle, it's a chosen few. I wrote it down and I followed through.
And as far as where
I bought a pound and we rode the few.
From where I'm standing,
I talk shit, but she know it's true. Ocean Views, small circle, it's a chosen
Does
few.
it sound like we have two different audio feeds going on right now?
I bought a pound and we rode the few.
Yeah, but underneath that, there's a person giving commentary.
Yeah, early morning off that flight though. We gon' go hard and get right, bro. It seems simple, that's not life though. 10 years later, I'm alright though. Look, he's exact like they don't like though. They be mad, nigga, shine bright though. Look, I got a Ruger and a Bryco, but I'ma let you pick which way tonight go. I got my dough right, plus the right go. I mean it's legal, pay taxes to them white folks. My procedures stay cracking till my lights low. And when I die, blue rag around my bright folk. 100,000 in my coffin, that's just light though. Playing Stevie Wonder song, smoke some flight, bro. Crack a pint of act and pour in some Sprite, bro. Until that day, I'm walking toward what's in my sights though. Cause all I see is Ocean Views. Small circle, it's a chosen few. I wrote it down and I followed through. I bought a pound and we rode the few.
there were motorcycles at the
I talk shit, but she know it's true.
Motorcycles that came through and led it into this direction. One wonders if this is sort of the beginning of that. But as we look down the street, it's very hard to see
where that hearse might be. 2 blocks away is what we're being told. So 2 blocks away, it's a long distance. It could be a while before they get over here, just simply because of the traffic. Let me see if I can talk to a couple of more people. Can we talk to you for just a minute? No? Okay. Sir, can we just have you come back over here for 1 minute? Thank you. You know, you're one of the people I talked to earlier.
Yeah. New Nipsey Hustle. Check me out. You in trouble. Check me out. Pay us now. Check me out. Or pay me double. Check me out. New Nipsey Hustle. Check me out. New Nipsey Hustle. Check me out. New Nipsey Hustle. Check me out. Check me out. I came from nothing. Shootouts in public. Riding buses. Buying Benzes. Buying buckets. Knocked me off from my grind, that's what they wasn't. My life was ugly, and I got money. Caught a glimpse of that, but that's not for me. She say she love me, she thinks she love me. She want my money, I think she funny. All bad. Feet 12 inches. Broke, die slow. While the rich get richer,
I think it's very clear what the impact is, because I think that as we continue to look down Central Boulevard, waiting for this to come on back for a second time.
We on the shop, above the law. I sag my pants to show my draw. This how we ball. Slop some more.
What's that?
Once, and never thought. Check me out. All bad. So money in, by the way. Feet 12 inches. Bro, die slow. So your feet. While the rich get richer.
Oh shit, what just happened? Is that somebody burning out? When you say flip it, so we're gonna throw the stream of the helicopter up, tape my show.
Stay away from the snitches. That's how you get those stitches. Only my circle. And we don't smoke on purple. Only kush out the Benzes. Where it come from? My is so relentless.
Yeah.
We don't play no games. Send it to the dentist or to the ICU. That's our ICU.
Right.
All about my business. All money business.
It's weird.
All bad.
Got it. And the reason we can do that is because we're not taking our live field cameras, right? Is that what I'm trying to just wrap my mind around the tech. Literally, got it. This will be 8 o'clock. Well, and all of that's fine and dandy. Truly, I started thinking about Milicia at that intersection at night. Yeah, because I know she'll want to stay. Right. 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 I mean, this is, you know.
It looks like just tires burning rubber there on Century, some of those motorcycles. But go ahead, Christine.
Well, my question is, too, is you've been covering this for a while. Where did these motorcycles come from? Is this part of the procession?
My generation, blue pill in the ocean view, red rose in the great pavement, young black niggas trapped in the cage. Know he a genius, he just can't play, bro. Feel like you know platforms, the hits are hated, but she know it's frustrated, so we get fake. Blessed, preparation. I need some real within reparations. Or I run up in your bank just for recreation. Dedication, hard work, plus patience. Some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication. Dedication.
I spent my whole life thinking out the box. Boxing homies 3-on-1, got DP but ain't dropped. Chirp on me, here I come. Spin around the block, they broke on me. Said I ran a stop sign, but that's a lie. I spent my whole life staring at the stage, playing Sega Daddy.
Oh no. What the hell?
So what's wrong with the intersection at night? Tanner's being rude as fuck. Y'all need to fire him. So I'm going to leave this off for just another second. Lovely.
That hurts. Yeah. That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Just going to step through the top of this real quick. We are not...
We're gonna count.
I'm gonna leave this here.
Balloon? That was a balloon? Balloon in the style of damn balloon. I told you already. I heard pop, pop, pop. I didn't know what it was. Gunshots and there was a balloon in the style of damn I told you already. I heard pop, pop, pop. I didn't know what it was. Oh, that's a look. They got the riot hero. They got the riot hero. They couldn't stop the first hurdle. What the fuck they gonna do the next one?
Hey, Chad, that was the Black Panthers and the police fighting this on the police and the Black Panthers was fighting. Every month.
Everybody from this side rushed this way. All the time. Oh, you talking about the camera, right? Yep, we was right here. Yeah, literally one of I'm standing right, like I'm recording, talking to friends.
Don't worry about what's going on.
Everybody trying to get down. Slauson was back.
He wants to be keep telling that by the time he get down there, he's still gonna say 20 minutes.
Yeah. He probably not trying to tell nobody bye. Because then 5 minutes later, you said this was gonna be here 5 minutes.
Probably meeting Slauson because last thing he said he was coming
probably like traffic right here. Let's give it like that. The thing that's gonna happen, we're gonna see them go first. I know. Well, you're gonna hear it. It's gonna be a whole hectic ass shit. Oh yeah, he's probably right there. I know, right? Chill the fuck out. Yeah. Oh, that's it. How much? Oh, man, don't ask me that, bro. No, we don't. We don't have, we don't have. Okay, look. Some good pictures.
possibility Black Sam could have me. Maybe soon, who knows? You know what I mean? But
Mary J. Why can't you just admit that you still love her? I can't believe this is happening.
Everything's gonna be okay, Mary Jane.
I'm not letting you get away.
The Being Mary Jane 2-hour series finale, Tuesday, April 23rd at 8, only on BET.
Mary J. Will you marry me?
Justin, there's something I need to tell you.
Your mother almost destroyed our entire family with what she did. What exactly is your role in all this?
Nobody believes in me.
I believe in you.
What do I tell my kids? I can't believe this is happening.
I love you, Pauletta Patterson, and I am not letting you get away.
The Being Mary Jane 2-hour series finale, Tuesday, April 23rd at 8, only on BET.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne
sure,
the Guy.
Robert.
We
That
are
is
the
a rare sight
Breakfast
to
Club.
see
We
those
got some
people on
special
top of
guests in the
that,
building.
Yes, and we got this one. Very close by there goes one more person up onto the squad car. And let me come out wider. There's the corner of the marathon. In fact, there's a sign right on the western side of the building, northwest side of the building, and that beautiful mural there of Nipsey. As I come back out, you'll see how close the hearse is. I'm getting exhausted. Can we go that way a little bit? That's exhaust. That's exhaust. Okay. go a little closer, Jim.
Right behind us. So maintain that order, maintain that love, maintain that discipline. We're right there. Good. I want to have your watch, y'all. The herd right behind us. Just make a little space, just a little room. So they need us to back up on this side. Keep it back up just a little bit. Everybody, just a little bit. It's not enough room for the hearse to make it through.
Hey, Chad, I can't hear a damn thing, but I know something. All these helicopters up above, like 10 of them, all the internet providers out here, I'm trying my best. I don't know how to turn off the comments. Walking. We'll try to walk around. Let me hit that refresh. Hold on. Walking. We'll try to walk around. Let me hit that refresh. Hold on.
2 steps back, please. Family, appreciate your cooperation. We love you, Sam!
My daughter got murdered last June. That's cool. My homie died right here. Fuck you mean so hard?